Okay, this morning I'm shorting my shifter rod. I had to pull it completely out. That was the old hole. I used a screw to screw it down to keep it lined up so it wouldn't move when I drilled it. So I had to drill and tap a new hole. It's about a 1/2 inch away, and then I'm going to cut, of course, a 1/2 inch off there. That'll give me the extra. It'll go from there to there. That'll give me the extra movement that I need. Like I say, it was just, I made this myself, so it wasn't a, something you bought. So just had to adjust it. It was kind of a pain in the ass now that the car was all together, pulling this back out. But hopefully this will solve the problem and I'll have all 4 gears. Okay, it's outside for the first time. Okay, we got the Bug in its new home for the winter. I tried to start it and it did start. I wanted to take it for a test drive, but that didn't happen. This all happened off camera. I got the windshield in today. It's just a plexiglass, temporary. Basically, it's just a pattern for when I get the real one. But I got that in. Problem I had after we started it, I started the other day and the fuse blew on the main wire. And what happened was the alternator, the fan shroud, rubbed and locked up. So the fan's in there in a bind. So the pulley tightened, it quit doing, which made the fuse blow and all that. So anyway, I'm going to have to pull the fan shroud off and figure out why it's rubbing. Right now I can turn it and it's still scraping. It's not as tight. It was completely tight. It froze up, but that happened after I tightened everything down. So I'm just going to have to pull it apart, look at it, see where it's rubbing and see where the issue is and put it back together. So not a huge deal. It runs, it starts right up and everything, but it is something I'm going to have to do, so it's kind of a bummer. But okay, I decided to come back out to the garage and start working on the problem. I'm just getting a head start for tomorrow, basically. I'm having to unhook everything from the fan shroud, unplug the coil, all that, get the alternator unplugged, get everything loose. Then I've got to get the throttle cable through the fan shroud, and after that, it should be okay. Here's a problem, you can hear it. That's the fans dragging inside the shroud there. So, I'm going to pull it off and see if it needs some washers or what the deal is. So, anyway, we'll get that and eventually we'll get on the road one day, we hope. So, let me just keep working through this. Okay, we got it out. Really wasn't that bad. And disassemble a few things, but overall, it came out pretty smoothly. So now we will investigate, figure out the problem. Okay, I found the problem. 2 problems, really. It was rubbing right there. Obviously, you can see where it was rubbing. And it was rubbing on the inside around that. But the reason it was rubbing, I'll give this a spin. You can see, it's not supposed to be like that. You can see the bolts came loose right there and try to fly apart. So that's the problem. Looks like it's going to be easy fix, but try to investigate and see what happened, why that came loose. But at least I know the problem. It's minor. I mean, stuff happens, so we'll see. Okay, this is the only thing that happened. This bolt back loose. It came loose. I don't know why, but it came loose. That was the only problem. It came loose and the fan was starting to, you could see it was starting to come loose, but it was still intact. But I just pulled it off. Pushed all the washers back, made sure it was fine. Everything was good. It just, things happen sometimes, so no big deal. I put some blue Loctite on the nut, torqued it back down, so it should be good. So I will put this back together tomorrow evening. I can do it tonight, but I'm really tired. I've been all day working on it, and I'm just fed up. I wasn't even gonna come back out and work on it, but it was bugging me to figure out what the problem was. So I came back out, and like I said, it only took about 15 minutes to pull everything apart. So I'll put it all back together tomorrow, and then we'll start it up. So didn't get to drive it today, but we still have the weekend coming up, so we'll get it. So hopefully this was the only little problem. I don't know. I do have to adjust the clutch. I don't know how that's going to be. So I have to pull it out tomorrow. So by the time I get this together, I'll probably start it up, pull it out of the garage a little bit, and test the clutch a little bit. But we'll eventually get it. A little setbacks, no big deal. Okay, I got it all back together. I got the zip ties on it loaded, ready to go. Everything coils loose so it slides to go in. It's back together. So tomorrow after work we'll get it in and try starting it up again, and hopefully it works and we can roll it out of the garage a little bit and maybe still take it for a drive tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I got everything reassembled. Everything backs together. The fan's not rubbing. So we're gonna try starting it again for the first time, the second time. Everything's on. Got a zip tie or something dangling in here. All right, we got outside, no test drive. I'll put the lights on just for giggles, really. Oh, turn it off. Okay, we got the fan shroud back on. We got the alternator back on. No noise from the fan. It ran, then it quit running. And we've checked for the fuel. Fuel's coming from the gas tank through all that, through the fuel pumps, pumping fuel. If I fill the bowl up, it runs perfectly, but fuel's not, after it runs out of the bowl, it doesn't run. So I've got some kind of carburetor issue now, so no test drive again today. So we're going to keep working on it tomorrow, not tonight. And eventually we'll get a test drive. Okay, before we put it in the garage, we tapped on the top of the carburetor and it actually started running. It was running good. It ran for probably 2 minutes. Then it quit running again. I think this is a cheap carburetor, obviously. It's I just needed one at the time I was doing it, so this is the one I bought. I may need to replace it. But I think what it is, the float was in there. There's this little valve here at the top. It seems like it was sticking a little bit. And I'm thinking it's this, because that's what lets the fuel in. And we tapped on it and it started running fine. And then it quit, and it does stick a little bit. So I'm gonna pull this out, make sure it's nice and free, because I think that's the problem. So anyway, maybe tomorrow we'll get it going. It's always something. So it's just crazy. It's been running pretty good, except for the fan obviously coming loose, but it was running fine up until that point. And then as soon as I got that fixed, the carburetor messed up. So anyway, I think this car just wants to be worked on and not driven. So let me see what I can do with this, and we'll continue. Okay, so that looks like the same day, but it's next day. I'm still working on the carburetor. It's still this little check valve, needle valve, that lets the fuel get from here into the bowl to fill the bowl up. I tried to get it apart. They don't jumpers. I tried to pull, if I can get it into focus, that little inner ring out to pull it apart, but I couldn't, and it kind of closed in on it and it seized it up. So what I did, you can see I have a file in my hand. I've been filing it down, and I took a drill and I put the end on it, on the end there, and then I just spun the shit out of it for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes to kind of wear it out. Now it seems like it moves freely finally, so I'm gonna foul it a little bit more and stick it in there. If this doesn't fix it, then I'll probably have to resort to getting a new carburetor. So let's give this a try and see what happens. Okay, I got it back together. The bowl is full of fuel, so probably what's going to happen is it's going to run for a while until that runs out, and probably still not going to work, but we'll find out. Push the pedal. Alright, it's Friday night. I am officially calling it for the night. I took that apart, put it back together. It's still not working, so at this point I'm either going to order a new carburetor, or I do have an old original carburetor in the shop. I may pull it and rebuild it, see if I can get a rebuild kit. for it. So either way, the carburetor is just not working. So it's a bummer. I have officially named this car. When I was working on it, I know sometimes we like to name our cars, and I really couldn't think of a name of it. The whole time I was working on it, nothing ever came to me, but now it's clear, because I went to try to start this 3 times now, and as you saw on the thumbnail, it's now officially Lucy, because every time I go, she pulls the damn football out from under me, and I don't get to do anything. So, this is now Lucy. So, say hello to Lucy for the first time. Alright, I'll upload this video tonight, and then I'll start the next video where, hopefully, we'll take a test drive. It's getting frustrating, but it's all part of it. So I don't know that I can get a new carburetor this weekend, so it may be next week. So anyway, this is where we'll leave it in its new home, and then we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.